we got some MMA news that's been going around this week. One of the big headlines that's been sticking out, of course, Ted, is a big move over to Bellator for Big Country, Roy Nelson. Is this a good idea or is it a bad idea, Ted?
I think it's a good one. He's kind of in the twilight of his career. He could continue to be a punching bag in the UFC. Kind of a gatekeeper dude. But in Bellator, let's face it, the level of competition, the heavyweights in Bellator don't compare to the heavyweights in the UFC. So he might find a new lease on life, so to speak, and a resurgence in his career. He might have better luck in the UFC and in Bellator.
Well, here's my take. If we really look back, and we kind of talked with James McSweeney about it when he came on our show, because he was also on that season of Ultimate Fighter with Rampage Jackson versus Rashad Evans. They really didn't give Roy Nelson the respect that he deserved. They matched him up immediately with Kimbo Slice in that season. Him and Dana were just clashing heads the entire time, and even when he won, he knocked out Brendan Schaub. He was never given the actual respect from Dana White or the UFC, and recently when we saw him knock out Bigfoot, kick Big John McCarthy in the ass, we saw Dana White say he's going to bury Roy Nelson. So immediately Roy Nelson has put the flags up, right when you hear that. And on top of it, he's not getting paid the right amount of money that you would actually think a star like him should be making.
Yeah, I mean, Roy Nelson and Dana White never got along. Dana White, I don't really get why he wanted Roy to cut his hair. I mean, MMA has room for everybody, right?
Even guys that do this.
Rub that belly, rub that Buddha. No, seriously, there's room in mixed martial arts for everybody. I mean, fighters with green hair, gay fighters, fighters that talk a lot, fighters that don't talk,
fighters that were men that now changed into women. Everyone has a shot in mixed martial arts.
There's room for everybody.
12-year-old. There was a 12-year-old girl that just beat a 24-year-old, Ted. Everyone has a spot in this sport.
I don't even want to. Oh man. See, now that I'm against, but like stuff that they do in Chechnya where they're having little kids fight.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's room for everybody. So why isn't there room for a long-haired, long-bearded, beer-bellied dude? Why not? Why not? Why do you have to have him conform? Let him be who he wants to be. So I always thought that was kind of weird and hypocritical of Dana White. So yeah, hopefully, and you hear about the fighters that have gone from the UFC to Bellator, and they say, what the big thing is? Respect. They show me respect here. It's not so much about the money, and there's opportunity to make money in different ways, i.e., more sponsors. But they keep talking about the respect that's shown to them. And I'm very happy for those fighters that have made the jump and are doing better in Bellator. So hopefully, same goes for Big Country.
I got two things to say here. Of course, right off the bat, I am excited for Big Country Nelson going over to Bellator. Like you said, trying to get that respect. And Bellator, I got to give them props. 2017 has been a huge year for them, signing on a huge part for every weight class in this roster, and it really is going to make an exciting 2018. The one thing that really worries me, though, Ted, is Bellator doesn't have as many cards as the UFC has, which really means how many times are these guys really going to fight each year?
Yeah, that's true.
How much are they really going to be making over at Bellator when you consider that,
Yeah, and I forget I think some fighters, don't they get non-exclusive contracts with Bellator so that they can fight elsewhere?
Well, we see it with Risen. Yeah, they go fight over at Risen, right?
Right. Sometimes they get like a joint contract. They get Risen and Bellator. I think sometimes they can if they can work it out, they can fight for other organizations, or maybe they can do kickboxing
commentary, like Matt Mitrione was recently doing for
commentary. They can do Bellator kickboxing, maybe some Brazilian jiu-jitsu if they're into that. So there's other opportunities too. But you make a good point. You got fighters got to stay busy. A fighter fights, so. No, you make a good point there. Yeah, I wish Bellator had more cards. I do.
And that's another thing that I'm really wondering is as we get, because we know that their contract is going to be up very soon with Spike. So I really wonder what changes are going to be made and how they're really going to really look at what they're going to be doing for the next 4-year or 5-year game plan here, because they are making a lot of really good moves, building that roster up, a lot of familiar names. But the one thing that really irks a lot of people is the delayed times, the hour or the 5-hour delays. We're not seeing the live shows, and that's what matters to the actual fans. That's what matters when we got people like us who are on Twitter following the sport, covering the sport. There's a lot of diehards out there. Those are the fans you have to respect and really make the blueprints around, because you gotta have a good card, which is what they're doing. They're not just doing these freak shows anymore. They're building the good cards. They're making the familiar fighters, but there's a lot of things missing that they need to build up on, and that really the time change thing is a big issue.
Yeah, I agree. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to watch something on delay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Is it that do they put it on delay because they? Why do they do it? Why did they do it?
I think it's because of the contract they have with Spike TV, like a certain time pocket that they got to get into. But it doesn't make sense that they're doing all these cards overseas with the time difference is like 8-hour difference, 12-hour. It doesn't make sense. Stop doing that. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yep. No, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. The UFC is able to make adjustments, so Bellator should do the same. I don't think that Bellator, is trying to be, UFC 2.0 or whatever. They're the alternative to UFC. When the UFC zigs, they zag. But this is one part where they should do the same thing, I think.
Well, let us know what you guys think about this on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA and also at Ted Czech. That's TEDCZECH. All right, Ted, I think we should get into the next part of this news segment here, which, of course, brings Cyborg back into the picture here. Cyborg was a big part of last week's news, of course, with Magana getting into the big fight. But the one thing I really want to talk about tonight with you, Ted, is the Germaine really not wanting this fight. Is it really up to her to say that? Is it really up to her to say, I don't want to make this fight, when really the truth behind it is they made this division for Chris Cyborg, and we all knew that if she wasn't the first one to fight, she was going to be next in line after that debut featherweight title match. So what's your thought on this?
Well, if Germaine really doesn't want to fight Cyborg, she should just say it. But she's saying everything but that. She's kind of talking all around it, because didn't she say that I think when she won the 145 title or somewhere maybe leading up to it, 145, you know what? 135, not really my 145 is my division. Gosh darn it, it's my division. Now she's changed her tune. Oh, and you know what? 135. I'm better suited for 135. So she's gonna vacate the 145 title. Is that what we're led to believe here? I mean, basically it's she's ducking.
Well, first when she won the belt, she was saying that she had the hand injury, and then she was recently quoted saying that she didn't want to fight Chris Cyborg, that Cyborg's a cheater, which a lot of MMA fans, and I got a big kick out of this, were saying, wait, Cyborg's a cheater? Weren't you just cheating in your last fight? Which, of course, I'm against. I just thought that was kind of funny.
They hitting after the bell.
Yeah, yep.
Twice.
And now, of course, she's saying that she wants to drop back down to 135 to hit that bantamweight. So
I guess if she wants to do that, go ahead and do that. But it's just not coming off right. You know what I mean? It definitely does look like she's ducking Cyborg. So, okay, fine. And then Cyborg can fight somebody else for the title, I guess.
Well, you know what? Now it seems like Megan Anderson might be brought up from Invicta FC, who is currently the Invicta FC champion down there on UFC Fight Pass. The same kind of, it's a feeder league to the UFC. It's where Cyborg recently let go of her title. They're going to bring her up to the UFC, which really makes me just kind of frustrated, because it's like, why did Cyborg even relinquish her title at Invicta FC? She could have just stayed there. Of course, it wouldn't be on as big of a stage or whatever, but it just doesn't excite me as much as somebody that's been in the UFC, has been facing the high-level competition, the Misha Tates, the Holly Holmes, you know what I'm saying here, the Valerie Letourneaus. the Cat Zinganos. I want to see one of them fight. Amanda Nunes maybe step up to fight Cyborg, somebody that we are familiar with. Of course, I love Megan Anderson, but that fight could have happened at Invicta. Let's face it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Cyborg's dream has always been to fight in the UFC.
Well, of course.
You know?
Yes.
So she would, so she gave up that title so that she could fight in the UFC. So what you're saying is you'd rather not see Megan Anderson be her opponent. You want somebody else to be her opponent.
Where does Megan Anderson really rank in the top ranks of the girls that are hanging in the UFC? Is my opinion. I mean, I want to see Cyborg fight some real competition here. I'm not saying Megan Anderson isn't real competition. I just think there's some better options here.
At 145, what's the division? There's like nobody in it.
There is nobody there, right? Which is kind of weird.
Aside from Holly Holm, there's nobody in the division. So they have to pull from outside of it. That's the problem. Is they need to construct. They need to assemble fighters. And they really haven't done that. They've created a title, but they don't have a top 10.
And of course, me and you were kind of going back and forth. We were going back and forth about this a couple of weeks ago. It's like, why is there no division yet? There's been nobody that's even been like, I'm open to really move up. Amanda Nunes, of course, is now saying that she's free. She kind of wants to do it. She's warming up to the idea, but there is no one in that division. You go to UFC.com right now. I'm telling anyone that's listening to the show right now, go to UFC.com right now. Look at the weight divisions. There's no one listed in the featherweight division besides Germaine Durandamy right now.
And is Holly still considered a 145?
135. She got this upcoming fight in 3 weeks here.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Not good. Not good.
Not good.
I don't know.
Idea.
They need to do something quick. Strip GDR of the belt, set up a fight with Cyborg and somebody, and then start pulling people from Invicta or wherever, start signing people. Either that or get rid of the whole thing.
All right, Ted, let's quickly just brush on this for 2 to 3 minutes here. Of course, there's going to be people wanting us to know our opinions on this Magana incident that happened to Cyborg while we're on her name. Of course, just to refresh anybody's memory, the UFC retreat went down last week. 60 fighters, maybe 200 fighters or so. They went to Las Vegas for a retreat where they all got like social media classes, stuff like that. Snoop Dogg concert. They all got together, and on the third and final day, Angela Magana, which you guys might remember from that season of Ultimate Fighter, friends with Beck Rawlings. She's Instagram famous for her booty pics, but hasn't been doing too well in the UFC. Well, she got called out on her shit. She's doing the cyberbullying against Cyborg, and she got called out for it, and it wasn't pretty. But now she's saying that she's going to be suing Chris Cyborg, which kind of rubs me the wrong way. And you're not seeing a lot of Magana's people really back her up. And she also just got kicked out of her gym as well. Ted, what are your thoughts on this?
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what you're alluding to is that Cyborg actually hit her in the face. The video was the one that everybody was showing. Man, it was so frustrating because the person holding the well, probably they were holding it the other way, but the person
at the worst time.
Camera, the person's got their phone, and there's like a line of people in front of them, and it seems like maybe they're getting to where the he or she can see, and right as the punch is delivered, that's when the camera is behind someone's big head. Could you be a worse camera person? No, it was the worst camera job ever.
Well, Ted, it's the same guy who caught Bigfoot in the woods. It must be.
It's got to be. Yeah, the Bigfoot looks over his shoulder. Yeah. Matter of fact, I was just watching a clip of Joe Rogan today talking about that. He had Bob. Remember Bobcat Goldthwait, the comedian from the Police Academy movies.
The guy who makes all the crazy noises? Yeah.
Bobcat Goldthwait. He had Bobcat Goldthwait on, and they were talking about Bigfoot and how shitty that it's obviously a dude in a monkey suit, in an ape suit.
I don't know.
Right. That it's just so happened I was watching that today. Anyway, so
Magana suing Cyborg.
So I think the whole thing was a trap. I think the whole thing, she and I don't know if Beck was involved in it or not, but okay, Magana, systematically cyberbullying, Cyborg, needling her, poke the bear, until finally, and she probably had some idea that Cyborg was going to be at this retreat, and I'm not saying this definitely happened, but it just seems as though it was a setup.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the video was actually filmed by Beck Rawlings. She's the one who sold the video to TMZ.
The one that we saw, where that one,
I'm like 75% positive, because when it went down, I was following the whole thing as it was all going on, the 3-day retreat with a couple of fighters that I've had on my show, because they were there. They're kind of updating me through their Snapchats and stuff like that. I was following along, and then when this happened, Bilal Muhammad was there, Charles Rosa was there. They were all there. And then Beck Rawlings tweeted out, "Hey TMZ, I got the video. Show me some money and I'll send it to you." Beck was the first one to actually come out.
I remember that, but I don't know if did TMZ actually agree and give her money for it?
I'm not sure, but I do know that she was one of the filmers for that did catch.
Right. So I mean, obviously these days everybody's got their camera at the ready.
Yeah.
But it begs the question. Oh, well, was it a setup? Because how quickly was Beck, there to begging for money from TMZ? Hoeing out the videotape for money.
I love Beck.
Right? She's doing that. Plus, Magana saying she's going to sue. So, it just makes you wonder, was the whole thing a setup? Because, Angela, strolling along and kind of maybe sees Cyborg and kind of, tries to make sure to get in front of her. And what does she think is going to happen? Of course, Cyborg's going to hit her. Of course she is.
Now, here's the thing, Ted. Of course, that all went down. But now, not only is she saying that she's going to sue Cyborg, whatever, which I'm completely against, I think you fucked up. You went out there, you're cyberbullying somebody that's a lot bigger than you, that's not in the same weight division. It's not like they're in the same weight division, they're trying to build up for a fight or anything like that. It's just her being mean. And we've seen a lot of people be mean to Cyborg, whether it was Dana White, Joe Rogan. They've all had their picks at Cyborg before she was in the UFC. I'm sure we all remember that. But Magana is also getting kicked out of her gym. Do you think that is fair?
I don't know that story, so you have to tell me, Eddie. I mean, getting kicked out of her gym specifically for this incident.
For this incident. I believe it's Alliance MMA that she's getting kicked out of. And I'm not going to throw the person under the bus, but of course you can go check their page out. But he came out saying, somebody that's part of this gym, that this was just downright dirty of Magana to do to Chris Cyborg. And no one wants to put up with that. It's not the way that you want. If you're the owner of a gym and you have somebody like Angela Magana and you're like, I want my son or whatever to go to this gym, and you look at the people there, you see Angela Magana and her butt pics, and then the Cyborg incident with the cyberbullying, it just doesn't look good. And then not only that, and I really don't want to be the bad guy here. I really don't want to throw shade. But if we even look at her record, and this has nothing to do with her getting kicked out of her gym, but just her record in the UFC, she's not somebody that really should be talking shit to anybody.
And as they say, Eddie, talk shit, get hit.
Talk shit, get hit.
That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. I mean, you could look at it that way. You could also say, well, Cyborg maybe should have went about it a different way, but these are fighters, and you'd never see the day where Cyborg and Magana would be in the same cage together. That would never happen. No. Cyborg's got a lot of weight on her, so I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, it seemed like a setup. The whole thing seemed like a setup. The way that Rowdy Beck was so quick to message TMZ, and Magana saying, "I'm going to sue you," and just seems like a setup.
Pretty weird incident that went down, but of course Cyborg was a big part of the last couple of weeks in news. So let's move on to the next part of this little news clip here. But yeah, guys, like we do on every episode here, of course we're going to be throwing it up to you. If you guys have any question you want about anything going on in the MMA world, anything at all, It could be dirty. It could be whatever. I don't care. Throw us a couple of questions here. Me and Ted are going to answer them for you. Hit the floor now. But Ted, I got to remind all of our listeners right now to tune into Pure Evil MMA episode number 44. We are doing a giveaway. We are giving away a t-shirt.
Giveaway, man.
An official Rick Glenn t-shirt. And it's actually not just on Pure Evil MMA. I'm bringing it up here on Evil and Intoxicated because it's right here on the iTunes channel is how you can win. All you got to do is rate us here on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. And, hold on.
Oh, what do you got, man? Uh-oh. Is there another rat on the loose?
Yeah, I got Pepper.
It's
She's
another rat
up the desk.
Whoa! Thing just jumped.
Yeah, she's climbing up the desk. There's Pepper. She got into a little fruit punch. She got see a little red stain
Pepper
on
the
her?
pink rat.
She got into some fruit punch. But yeah, guys, we're giving away an official Rick Glenn t-shirt here on Pure Evil MMA and Evil Intoxicated. So if you want to win, all you got to do is give us 5 stars down below and a quick...
Oh, Ann is weighing in. She's saying cowboy for her. She would take cowboy.
What, to sit on her face?
Well, you know, Eddie. I mean, yeah, something like that. You know.
Oh my God.
She just wants to. Yeah, hey, since we're all being dirty, okay, she
funny.
gets cowboy.
This is funny. Well, Ted, if you could pick one girl, since we're on it. No, I'm just playing. If there's one girl in MMA, who would it be that you could sleep with for one night? Who would it be?
Oh man. Oh well, I mean, of all time, Gina Carano.
I knew you were gonna go for that. I knew you were gonna.
Oh yeah.
I knew you were gonna go for that.
Oh, Gina's my girl. Oh yeah. I mean, Misha's number 2 probably, but Gina's number 1. All time number 1.
That's so funny because I was definitely gonna pick Misha Tate.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was never really a big fan of Misha until lately. She's been looking really good. Who just snuck in?
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
But yeah, guys, make sure you guys give us a rating down below, and also, if you want to give us a rating, or not a rating, a description or whatever, comment. That's how you can win. I'm going to be giving away 2, not just 1. We're going to have 2 winners here. 2 winners here. So Ted, do we have any questions there in the chat room?
No questions. Oh, Orlando is asking about the triple uppercut by Gus. Yeah, that was amazing. He's like, I know he doesn't have the longest. He's got a long reach, but he's like Stretch. Remember Stretch Armstrong? That thing that the figure that you buy. He was like, wow, with those uppercuts. They were coming from halfway across the octagon. Wow, uppercuts. Yeah, they were a sight to be seen. They were amazing.
3 uppercuts in a row, and then a right hook or a left hook that just dropped Glover Teixeira. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, it's because of that fight that he had with Rumble. He's just so prone to that uppercut. That's something that Glover really needs to work on. And does it have to go back to making a change with his gym? Does he have to make some changes? We're gonna have to wait and see to find out. But yeah, beautiful uppercuts there by Gus.
Yeah. So Oh, and Ann is saying she agrees with me. If she were gay, if Ann were a lesbian, which she's not, but if she were, she would take Gina as well.
It only makes sense, and I think about 75% of the MMA community probably would side with you guys there.
Yeah. Where is Gina? Last I saw her, she was in. Oh God, what was the movie there? Deadpool. She was in Deadpool.
She was in Deadpool?
Yeah, man. She had a she had a match kind of sticking out of her mouth. She was in Deadpool. Trust me.
See, I only saw the beginning of Deadpool and then I shut it off. I wasn't that into it. Wasn't that into it?
What? Are you kidding me?
I know there's a lot of people that told me that like.
Oh my God, it's hilarious! You have to watch the rest of it. It's the funniest lines. Funniest lines.
I was like somewhat into it, but I don't know. It was just a little weird.
You got to give it another chance, man. Give it a redemption.
I'm gonna give it a redemption, especially with Gina Carano, and I did not know that.
Yeah, she's in it. She is. I mean, she's. It's a minor role, but she's in it.
Definitely got to check it out. She's in a bunch of roles, but yeah, Ted, I think we should end the episode with one last question. If somebody doesn't have one, I got something that I could bring up. Okay, well,
Orlando said, what do we think about Tenshin Nasukawa?
Coming over as a kickboxer into the MMA world. This is something that I was talking about before. The UFC, they of course they want to match him up with somebody that's going to give him a hard fight. Now, should they give him somebody like a striker like himself to give us a really exciting fight? Or are they going to match him up with somebody with the complete opposite style that's going to really try to grapple him and try to really show him some adversity here? That's not the right way to go. But then again, it's the UFC. So how do you think they're going to match this up, and who do you think they're going to match him up against? Does he have an opponent yet or no?
I don't know.
I don't think
Wait.
so.
Who? So this guy's coming over from kickboxing. So he has no.
He's 0-1 in MMA.
Oh, okay. Because we've got another guy, Gokhan Saki.
Maybe is that who I'm thinking of? I
Gokhan
think that's who I'm thinking of.
He's a former kickboxing champion, and the guy was.
That's what I'm thinking of.
What do they call him? The something Mike Tyson. He's oh God, what? He's European. He's Eastern European, but they call him the something Tyson. Gokhan Saki. He was a K1 kickboxer and a Glory kickboxer. He was a champion, and he just got signed by the UFC. Gokhan Saki.
I'm thinking of Saki then.
But there's another guy, Tenshin Nasukawa, a Japanese guy. He's only 18 years old, and
I'm happy you corrected me on that.
I think he might be the guy in Ryzen. Isn't he the young gun in Ryzen?
I think you might be right there. I'm very sorry for getting those two mixed up. But yeah, Saki, he's 0-1 in MMA. This guy though, he's 18 years old. That might be one of the youngest people to ever be brought over in the UFC.
Okay, Tenshin Nasukawa. He is 3-0. He's a flyweight. Yeah, he's the Ryzen guy I'm thinking of.
Okay.
His 3 fights have been all in Ryzen. Ryzen 3, 4, and 5. A TKO, a guillotine, and a TKO. Yeah, he has looked good. Now he's obviously green at 3-0, but he's only 18 years old, so he is a serious prospect. Let's see.
Got rats falling from the ceiling right now. It's crazy in here right now. You have no idea what's going on around me.
Yeah, rats everywhere.
It's getting. If you guys can only see like a 360 of what's going on in here. I got quite the community in here right now.
Cats and dogs living together.
They're literally like pouring in here, all the rats. I got 6 rats in case nobody knows. And of course, God. Oscar's in here right now.
Only you, Eddie. I mean, anywhere.
I literally just, Ted, I swear to God, I saw one of the rats about 6 feet up in the air just drop into the room from the closet. It's
Eddie,
like Willard. It's like Willard.
Anywhere else, 6 rats in a room would be a bad thing.
They're just pouring in, man. I'm not even kidding. I hope it's all right.
So, all right, last question. Sammy's asking, do you think the only reason they signed Manoa versus Ozdemir on UFC 214 is because they don't think John Jones will make it? See, John Jones and DC are supposed to fight, but, everybody, I've been on the message boards, a lot of people, and they're making jokes. They're saying, hey, you know what? Between now and then, something's going to happen to John Jones. He's going to get pulled over. He's going to get arrested. He's going to do something. He's going to do something to screw it up like he always does. So they signed Manoa versus Ozdemir, but they could easily just move one of those guys into the spot against DC.
Let's not forget, Dana White was once quoted immediately after UFC 200 that he was never going to give John Bones another shot at a main event. And what does he immediately do? And we thought we were in the clear for UFC 200. Me and you were doing the breakdown the night before. Yeah. We were less than 24 hours away. And I think Sammy was even listening in that night. I think Sammy was one of the people that was here during the reaction of it. And Ted, you got to prepare for something like that. When it happens once, all right, whatever. When it happens twice, come on. Like, don't be the fool that was like, I didn't expect anything to happen. Like, Sammy makes a great point here. Kudos to that. I think that the UFC is definitely well aware that this is a huge possibility. And we have some time before that fight goes down. So there's going to be a lot of people saying that they do not think this fight is actually going to go down without something happening or getting in the way or some type of weird injury at AKA or whatever is going to happen in the next couple of weeks here.
No, I mean, yeah, you as a promoter, you got to prepare. and especially like you said, especially it's John Jones. Got to prepare.
Or if you got somebody working or training over at AKA,
you got to have a plan B. You know, so yeah, I mean, yeah, DC, something could happen to DC as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good that they're doing that. I think Gus would take exception to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gus would be like, oh, hello, number one contender right here. What do you do?
Great point. I think that's what I think they need to have. I'd rather see Gus on the back burner than Manuel.
Well, and maybe he is. He's just, you know, he's not. You know, they set up that fight, and then they've also got Gus. Maybe, I don't know.
All right, Ted. So as we close this episode out, is there anything else going on in the chat room before we end this baby?
Yes, you are the Willard of the 21st century.
That's awesome. I'm the Willard of MMA. How about that? I'm the Willard of MMA.
That was a movie, right? Willard?
Yeah, Willard. They even had the remake of it.
Oh God. Because so what was the deal? He was in love with rats.
Here's the deal. It was a young boy who had an abusive childhood, and he made friends with a rat named Willard, and he grew up, got older or whatever, and him and the rats would like plot murders with one another for people that really did wrong against him in his life. And the movie ends up as I can't ruin the ending because it's just something that you gotta see, but I'm the Willard of MMA.
Okay,
remember that.
You can have that title.
Remember that.
It wasn't that Crispin Glover? Wasn't he Willard?
In the newer one?
No, the old one.
In the newer one, the guy who plays Hey McFly from Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's Crispin Glover.
That's the remake.
That's the remake.
That's the remake. The original goes back to the 80s, and Michael Jackson actually did the soundtrack to Willard.
Jeez, I had no idea about that.
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit of that. A little bit of that.
Dropping knowledge. There. Yeah, no, I remember seeing the trailer for it, but I never watched it. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna watch a movie about rats. You know.
All right, so Ted, let's end this thing off. My last question to you is: where are you going to be this weekend to watch UFC 212? You're going to go back to Buffalo Wild Wings. Where's Ted Czech go for UFC 212? You going to fly to Brazil? What are you doing?
Yes, on my private Lear jet. Now I don't know. You know what, Eddie? God, I've been so busy with stuff. I haven't even had time to think about it. Yeah, I might get out to B-Dubs. I just might.
You know, I went to B-Dubs one time. Or no, that's a lie. I went to B-Dubs a couple of times. Only one time to actually sit there and watch the entire pay-per-view. It's a fun time. I just get annoyed with people around me that just act like idiots. You know what I mean? That
all right.
Shouting stupid stuff where I'm like, that can't happen. You know what I mean? People that really don't know the sport.
Most of the people I think at the one I go to are smart. You know what I mean? Like they're into the sport. One time we went. This was a few months back. I forget what what number it was, but it was packed, and people were like, hey! Every time somebody got a knockdown, people were like, oh! You know, every time anybody got knocked out.
That could be fun though. That could be fun.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. You know.
Sometimes it could definitely be fun, but you know, I live here in the city, so there's a lot of Stunads that come in and out. You know what I mean?
Stunad.
A lot of Stunads that come in and out. But I'm from the East Coast, guys. I'm sorry. If you don't know what that means, it means a bunch of idiots. But yeah, UFC 212. I'm going to be having a couple of people over maybe, but of course I'm going to be covering it live on Twitter and followed up by a recap. Ted, one last time, who are you favoring? You're favoring Max Holloway to finish it by decision, correct?
Yeah, I said Holloway by decision.
And I'm going for Jose Aldo by knockout, round 4. So anyone out there that wants to make their predictions, let us know on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA and also at Ted Czech, the CEDCZECH. All right, Ted, what can everybody find on your channel if they want to bounce off of here? Go check your channel out. Make sure you subscribe to Ted channel. But what did you get up this week?
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, Eddie, I have not been up to snuff. I have not been my usual self.
Oh, I got accepted, Ted. I got accepted to YouTube Live on my phone.
Is that right?
Yeah, man. I haven't used it yet, but I got accepted. I wanted to tell you that. I forgot.
Good. Oh, so you had to apply.
No, they just accepted me. Like, you said that they only accept like a certain amount of people. Well, now they.
I thought so, but I you know.
Well, I didn't have the option.
Good.
I didn't have the option last week or the week before, or ever before. Now I can go live right from my phone. Which is,
Good. Congrats, man.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Thanks.
And of course, you've been doing your YouTube lives every Monday night. Are you still doing that?
Well, I missed. My parents were in town, so and then we had the holiday, and so I missed this Monday, and I feel like crap over that. I really do. But I'll be stepping things back up for sure.
Well, of course,
Maybe even tomorrow night. Maybe even tomorrow. Who knows?
Well, of course, we just did our Ultimate Fighter Season 25, Episode 7 recap, and we have a lot of questions, guys. Who do you think is going to win next week? Is it going to be Hader Hassan or Joe Big Daddy Stevenson? I mean, he's got to prepare in the next 6 days. Like Ted said, it's already happened, but, you know, this is going to be an exciting fight. I really think that Joe is not going to win this. Let us know what you guys think. And make sure you check out Pure Evil MMA episode number 44. And if you want to win the giveaway here on Evil Intoxicated or on Pure Evil MMA, all you got to do is check out our iTunes page. On iTunes, just search Pure Evil MMA. Give us a review. Rate us 5 stars. And I'm going to be giving away 2 official Rick Glenn, the Gladiator Rick Glenn, t-shirts. So make sure you guys check it out. I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA. That is Ted Czech, and we're out.